One Paul here. Today I'm going to show you a custom ribbon strategy for crypto. Now I'm using this for, this requires, to have less indicators. It's required, I guess, to have like Ghost Market Pro because that's the best one to use, but there are alternatives that you can use. But if you use the alternatives, it's going to chew up a lot more of your indicators. So for that to happen, you would need either an upgraded TradingView account or you just have to do some workarounds. So I'll show you the workarounds. Not all people want to use the Ghost Market Pro, but purpose of the video, I'm going to show you how to use it with MACD and how to use it for crypto and how to find kind of the best trades. So we're going to be focusing on a longer time frame for this to work. So we're going to look at the daily, and then we're going to kind of go down to the hour and see if we can find any good trades by just using this strategy, by using the custom ribbon strategy and the MACD. Okay, so there's basically three indicators set up here. The first one being Ghost Market Pro Swing. So if you guys want to get that one, I'll put a link below. It's a paid indicator. You're going to need the Ghost Market Pro Swing for that. If you don't, the Ghost Market Swing is basically, if I check it here, you can see it's the custom EMA ribbon here. And I can show you the range. It goes from 5 all the way to 95. So basically 5 all the way to 95. So if you want to, you would have to set your moving averages from 5 all the way to 95. There are alternatives if you don't want Ghost Market Pro. You can get, let's see, if we go here to your indicators, you can go to Kyle Algo version 1, and it's almost the same thing. You can see this, it's almost the same thing. I think they use less indicators, but yeah, it's less indicators, I believe, because if you look at the Ghost Market Pro, it's about half of it. So it still will work pretty well, but it's half of the moving averages there. And so that's what you want to get if you don't want the indicator. And the next thing you want to do is you want to put your linear regression candles here. But in this scenario, we're not going to be using the candles. You go to linear regression candle, and you go here. And what you want to do is you want to hide your linear candles. All you need is the plot line for this scenario. So you want to have the plot line with the swing. So you add those two together, and then you have MACD. With MACD, I check off the histogram, and I change my inputs to 13 and 48. So those are the settings. So basically what you want to do is you want to look at your daily. We're at Bitcoin right now, and you want to pay attention to when the linear regression, you want to go to a longer time frame, and you want to pay attention to what the linear regression plot line is doing. So the more you focus on a longer time frame, the more accurate it's going to be. So right now what we can see for Bitcoin, we see that the linear regression plot line is crossing down on the 90-95. So if you guys, for those that don't want the Ghost Market Pro here, I'm going to add this real quick. If you don't want all these moving averages, you could basically just probably get away with the 90-95. The 90-95 with the linear plot line, that would be the easiest route to go for people, because you basically want to pay attention to what's crossing with the 90-95. So if you don't want the whole custom ribbon, you can work with the 90-95 and see when anything is crossing it. But I do recommend it with all the moving averages. So anyway, you want to pay attention to when the plot line is crossing the 90-95, which is right here. And you can see that happening right now. So from what we could tell right now, because the plot line is crossing the 90-95 on the daily of Bitcoin here, we can tell that the trend is going down. We can already tell that because it's crossing the 90-95 that the direction's going down. So down would be the direction to focus on. So what we want to do at this point is we want to be focusing on our MACD. So since we know the direction is down, what we want to focus on is when the lines cross up, and then we want to get in on the next moment that it crosses down. You may not be able to get that on the daily, so you want to go down to a smaller time frame. So in this situation, we'll go to 4 hour. So we know that the direction is down. So what you want to focus on here is you want to look at your MACD. And since we know that the direction is going down because we looked at the daily, and the plot line is crossing the 90-95 on the daily, so we know the direction is starting to go down. So what you want to do is you want to focus on all the moments when the MACD is crossing down. You see that moment right here? So this would be a trade right here. You see it on the MACD right here, so this would be a trade for a sell position. You see it also right here. This will be another for a sell position right here. It's crossing down on the MACD. And then up here you see it crossing down from up here at the top. From up here at the top you see it crossing down. So this will be another sell position right here. So let's real quickly look at some other crypto assets. Let's look at Ethereum real quick. Let's go focus on the daily. And let's get a general idea. Okay, so in this scenario, we can see that Ethereum is bullish. The last time it crossed was over here. So we are currently in a bullish. So the uptrend is what you'll be focused on because it's clearly in an uptrend on the daily. You can see that right now it is in an uptrend with maybe a little bit of a pullback. So up is the direction you want to be focusing on. You see the plot line crossing right here. So you could have got in here and you could have rode it out. The plot line will basically show you and guide you through some pretty good long-term trades. So when you see it crossing the 90-95, you'll know that you'll most likely enter a good trade because it is a pretty much signaling a change of direction. Because you see the plot line, and I can make it more thick just so you guys see it. It crosses the 90-95 right here, so Ethereum started going up here at this point. So up is the current direction that you would be focusing on because the 90-95 and the linear regression is all pointing up. So what you want to do is you want to go to a smaller time frame and you want to focus on the MACD and all the times that it goes up. Let's look at a 4 hour. So right now it seems to be a little sideways on a 4 hour, but if we want to check this, basically right here would have been a good moment for a trade. On the daily, the overall direction is up. So you want to wait for crosses with the MACD. Right here would be a good trade. It's crossed, the plot line's crossing the 90-95, and you see it crossing with the MACD. So up is the direction you focus on. So we want to focus on the next time the MACD is crossing. You also see that happen right here and right here. So real quickly, let's go look at one more crypto. Let's go look at Solana. Okay, so we're going to look at Solana right now. Solana's price is about $200. So let's go look at the daily real quick. And right now Solana is in a bullish momentum. You see the linear regression crossing the 90-95 right here. So we are in a bullish. So up is the direction you will be focusing on. Right now you can't get anything from the daily, so you would have to go down to a smaller time frame. So if we go to a 4 hour here, you want to focus on all the moments where the MACD crosses. See a moment right here for a bullish momentum. And you see a moment right here for bullish momentum. And you also see the plot line crossing the 90-95. So that's basically how you do it. You if you can't get the custom ribbon, you definitely want to work with the. Let's go back to Bitcoin here. You definitely want to work with, if you can't get the custom ribbon, which again, I'll give you the numbers of the moving averages you need, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. With 90, 95 being the most important ones if you can't get the custom ribbons. And basically you want to use the plot line from the linear regression candles to see if it's crossing the plot lines, and you want to focus that on the longest time frame you can find. So we didn't look at here, but we can also look at the weekly here for Bitcoin real quick, and I'm going to show you. I'll show you exactly when we turn bearish. It's when the plot line crosses the 90.95. That'll tell you on the weekly, and that'll tell you when exactly we are going to be losing momentum to the upside. But basically, if you want to do your trades, you want to look at your daily. You want to see if the plot line is crossing the 90.95, and if you don't want the custom ribbons, just focus on the 90.95 and see the moments where the plot line crosses. So you focus on all the moments where it crosses. So right here would have been the start. This is the start of the bullish momentum. This is the start of the bearish momentum. And it might be brief, we don't know. But this is the start of the bearish. So in these moments, or when you know what direction to focus on. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish, and then we got bullish right here, which is this was the start of pretty much of the bull cycle here. But anyway, these elements help me, and it helps you find a lot of good signals. You have to identify it first with the daily, and then go down in time frames. You can go down to the 4 hour to the 1 hour. Personally, I don't trade any of the smaller time frames. I use this formula for the, I look at the daily, and once I've identified the direction by using the linear regression plot line, once I identify the direction, I'll go to the smaller time frame. I don't do the smallest time frame I'll do is probably 30 minutes, because if you do anything lower than that, you can identify the direction, but the if you do a smaller time frame, you could catch a lot of sideways and a lot of those movements that won't lead to anything good. So the lowest I'll do is the 30-minute to the hour once I've identified the direction. So anyway, if you guys like the strategy, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.